I did call it. I did call it. I don't know what is it with Darlington, but every time the Southern 500 begins, all the playoff drivers just forget to race, forget to pit, forget to do anything right. Yo, what's good everyone? My name is Jett. Welcome back to episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop, where we're having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. The first race of the NASCAR playoffs, first race of the round of 16 has just completed. I don't know why I did not have Chase Briscoe. Why did I not pick him? Why did I have him in my lineup? But it makes so much sense. But Chase Briscoe, absolute domination in this race. He was able to hold off a hard-charging Tyler Reddick, Erik Jones, yes, and John Hunter Nemechek to capture his second back-to-back Southern 500 and his fourth career Cup Series win, leading, 300 over 309 of the 367 laps. It's his second win of 2025. He becomes the first driver to go back-to-back in the Southern 500 since Greg Biffle back in 2005 and 2006, but most importantly, is locked into the round of 12. Let's take a look at the unofficial results following the Southern 500, shall we? I mean, look at this top 10, specifically the top 7, all but one car are Toyotas. Briscoe, Reddick, look at the legacy. Erik Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, third and fourth. AJ Allmendinger, look at that, smack dab in the middle of him. Great run for him in 5th place. Bubba Wallace, excellent run for him in 6th. Denny Hamlin, we'll talk about him in a little bit. Rebounds for 7th. Kyle Busch, we'll definitely talk about him. Rebounds for 8th. Carson Hocevar in 9th, and Chris Buescher rounds out the top 10. Ross Chastain in 11th. Austin Cindric in 12th. How about this? The front row drivers of the Zane Smith and Noah Gragson, great top 15 runs for him in 13th and 14th. Chase Elliott 17th, Ryan Blaney 18th, Kyle Larson in 19th, and the defending champ Logano the top 20, William Byron in 21st, Austin Dillon 23rd. Some other notables, you see Christopher Bell in 29th, Alex Bowman 31st, Shane Van Gisbergen in 32nd, and then rounding out the 38 car lineup is Josh Berry finishing in dead last. Let's take a look at the playoff grid following Darlington. So Chase Briscoe, he is colored in yellow, knowing he is locked into the round of 12. Denny Hamlin plus 43, Kyle Larson plus 38. The biggest mover is Tyler Reddick. He entered Darlington on the 14th position in the playoff grid, -1. He leaves up 10 spots, 4th plus 35. His teammate Bubba Wallace right behind him at plus 25, tied with William Byron, the regular season champion. Ryan Blaney plus 22, Chastain 21, Austin Cindric plus 12, Christopher Bell plus 11, Chase Elliott plus 9, Shane Van Gisbergen, the biggest loser, drops 6 positions to hold the final transfer spot at the moment, 3 points ahead of Joey Logano, 8 points ahead of Austin Dillon in 14th, and Alex Bowman and Josh Berry are tied for the final 2 positions, both sit at -19. Let's first talk about Chase Briscoe. Absolutely historic win. Like I said, becomes the first driver since 2006 to win back-to-back Southern 500s. He also becomes the first driver since Bobby Allison in 1971. I mean, 1971. Talking about more than 50 years since the last time my driver led 300 laps and went on to win the Southern 500. I mean, absolute domination. We shouldn't be surprised, but Briscoe was just on the money. Like I said, he led 309 of 367. That guy was virtually out in front for the entirety of the race. Anytime he lost a lead, even if it was for a little bit, was able to take it right back up. Absolutely dominating performance from this 19 car. And from Chase Briscoe. The whole team, Briscoe, the pit crew, worked flawlessly. You know, maybe Briscoe's wife was right about drinking that non-pasteurized milk. Maybe she's onto something. Guarantee you they both had diarrhea the day before, but you know what? Maybe it works. I don't know. But as we move on, regardless, it was an excellent, dominant performance for this 19 ride. I said this in my playoff predictions that this 19 can make a deep playoff run. Like, I would not be surprised if we see Chase Briscoe enter the round of 8. I think that's a great possibility. And tonight proved that, hey, when their backs are against the wall, when you have to perform in clutch mode, this 19 car, specifically Chase Briscoe, can get the job done. So absolutely incredible performance by him. There was a bit of discourse on social media about dirty air, because in the closing laps of that race, Chase Briscoe opened up to a big lead over Tyler Reddick. But as we got down to 2019 or so laps ago, we started to see the 45 close in. Then we started to see the 43 of Erik Jones close in. And even for a little bit, saw Jarno Nemechek close in as well. And there was a point in time where we saw about 4 drivers within a blanket around 11, 12 laps ago. Tyler Reddick was within 2/10 of Chase Briscoe. But once Reddick got in Briscoe's wake, Reddick couldn't do anything. Same thing with Erik Jones. Erik Jones was charging, but as soon as he got up to Tyler Reddick, he couldn't really do anything. And I do think, again, it's this car. Dirty Air has amplified even more with this next-gen car. I also do think it's a little combination of Chase Briscoe was just that damn good, because we also did see other drivers drive their way through the field. Kyle Busch got caught up in an accident on lap 1, drove his way back up to a top 10 finish. Denny Hamlin also had an issue on pit road, was mired back in mid-pack, and drove his way up back to a top 10 finish. So we've seen drivers do that, but yes, we also do still see Dirty Air be a major factor once again, that Reddick and Jones both were able to be miles faster than Chase Briscoe. They're about 5 or so seconds behind Chase, was able to eat that lead away, but as soon as they caught him, they couldn't do nothing about it. So it's like a little bit of both, where we saw drivers able to pass, but I also do think that's because of a couple things. Number one, they weren't facing Chase Briscoe. And number two, they were all mired in Dirty Air. So it was like they were kind of all under the same thing. But once you get into the clean air that Chase Briscoe was under, you're playing God at that point. If y'all watched my race day video, I said that for some reason, the Southern 500 always makes the playoff drivers just fall apart, whether on the racetrack, on pit road, mechanical wise, whatever. They just seem to fall apart, and today, or I should say tonight, was no different. We saw half of the playoff grid have real, true things that went wrong, and we're going to go over it now. Josh Berry started third, lap 1, turn 2, just the car bottomed out, spun it around, slapped the left side of Tyler Reddick's number 45 car, and crashed into the wall, collecting Chris Buescher and Kyle Busch that we mentioned earlier. And not even 2 laps in, his day done. He did get the fastest lap, I believe, and I'm not mistaken, so he did get an extra point, but finished dead last. I mean, not even 2 laps into it, and already, boom, 1 playoff driver off the board. Not so long after then, Alex Bowman. We're going to talk about Bowman, specifically Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, because they had a horrendous day, but Bowman just had horrible pit stops. I'm talking the gun, they had to get a new gun on one of the pit stops, and that new gun wasn't connected properly. There was no air going to the gun. I mean, you're talking 30, 40 seconds in one pit stop in the middle of a green flag sequence. That is horrible. Absolutely god awful. They were just having bad pit stop after bad pit stop after bad pit stop, and he ended up finishing 31st, 2 laps down. His teammate, Chase Elliott. Elliott had contact with Carson Hocefer for a couple times. They were having, a little scrap, bad pit stops, and even questionable strategy. Like, there was one point in time where I don't remember exactly which part of the race, but Chase Elliott had 4-lap-old tires, and then a caution came out, and then Alan Gustafson had Chase Elliott go back onto pit road. Why? Like, for 4 laps, I understand, yes, it's Darlington, but still, the tires wasn't wearing so much, and when we saw Jarno Nemechek was able to finish in the top 10 in the stage after staying out on 40-something lap old tires. So it's not like tires mattered that much, but for Alan to make that decision, it was just a bad day for this 9 car. Bad pit stops, bad strategy, just not a good car, not a good day overall. Let's go to his teammate, William Byron. Now, Byron, during a caution sequence, he went on pit road, had a loose wheel, that had come back onto pit road, and got mired back in traffic, and was just never able to recover and finish 21st. I mean, we saw him maybe creep up to the low teens, but never in the top 10. And Kyle Larson also was running well at the beginning at the race. He actually showed some pretty good speed. I don't know if he got contact on a restart where there was a large checkup and he ran to the back end of the 43 of Erik Jones. Maybe that damaged something in his car. I'm not sure. But after that, we didn't see that 5 of Larson anywhere, and he ended up finishing 19th. Yes, all 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars were horrible. The highest Chevy was AJ Allmendinger. The highest Hendrick car was Chase Elliott in 17th. I mean, you want to talk about wild, wacky night in Darlington? That's a perfect example. Neither Hendrick car, either A, self-inflicted, or B, just did not show up for pure pace. They were just non-existent. The top Chevy cars were non-playoff drivers. I mean, Kyle Busch and AJ Allmendinger. Who had that in their lineup tonight? And let's throw in a couple of JGR drivers. Christopher Bell was running not too bad, but then on pit road, he hit Carson Hocevar, and that damaged the right front portion of his car, damaged a bit of the splitter of his car, and that ended his day because that car was virtually undrivable. These cars are so aero-sensitive with that splitter, if it even gets a little bit damaged, your day is done. And Denny Hamlin. Yes, Denny Hamlin recovered to finish 7th, but he did have a very slow stop near the beginning, or should say the middle portion of the race, got mired back in traffic, and it virtually took him the entire night to get him back up into the top 10. But like I said, was able to recover, finish 7th, and left Darlington with a plus 43 gap over the cut line. And finally, Ryan Blaney. On stage 2 on a restart, Kyle Busch got loose off of turn number 4. Ryan Blaney checked up, Austin Dillon from behind, hit him, sent Blaney sideways. He tapped the inside wall with the back end, but I believe he damaged the diffuser of the car. And again, that's a very aero-sensitive part of the car. Car was virtually undrivable, and he ended up finishing 18th. Now, there were 3 other drivers that just had bad cars. Shane Van Gisbergen, I mean, he had a horrible night, was complaining nonstop about how undrivable the car was. Joey Logano also was. He had moments where he was in the top 10, but for the most part, he was mired back in the mid to early or low 20s. Same thing with Austin Dillon. He had started well, started in 9th position, started well, but and eventually he just fell back. So those 3 drivers they just had bad cars. Nothing happened to them. They just weren't good. While the playoff drivers had major issues, some of the non-playoff drivers, let's put a spotlight on them. Legacy Motor Club. Legacy freaking Motor Club finished 3rd and 4th on a track that's not a super speedway. What? And the thing is, they weren't there on luck. They were there on merit. I mean, Eric Jones, not surprising. The guy's a 2-time Southern 500 winner. You should almost expect him to be up front. But Nemechek was right behind. And they were on it all race long. Nemechek finished in the top 10 in both stages, and Eric Jones finished 3rd in stage 2. They were there the entirety of the race, and it was so shocking, so surprising. Legacy Motor Club has been making some serious gains in 2025. We started to see them improving a bit more, just step by step, see them up front a bit more, being more consistent up near towards the mid-pack, maybe in their early teens. But this was their best showing ever. Never seen Legacy Motor Club before perform this well. And it gives me confidence to see how well they could be in 2026 if they can build off of that, because they are building momentum, they are building steam. Hopefully they can build off of that into 2026. But an absolutely incredible performance from the 2 tonight. I mentioned Kyle Busch. I mean, started at the back because he got caught up in a crash on lap 1, got ran into the back by somebody, had some damage on the right front corner panel of his car, but was somehow able to rebound for an 8th place finish. Absolutely great run for that A team. I know it's not a win, but it's something. At least they can hold their head high and be like, you know what? After all that, we still came home with the top 10 finish. And by the way, they beat their playoff driver, Austin Dillon, who really didn't have much issues compared to Kyle Busch. And he was mired outside the top 15 while Kyle Busch finished 8th in a damaged car. So, says a lot. AJ Allmendinger finished in 5th. Allmendinger was another driver that was there for really the entirety of the race. Finished 5th in stage 2. But yeah, again, he was one of those drivers, like with Legacy, that was always there. Was up challenging with the playoff drivers. Challenged Ross Chastain. Challenged Bubba Wallace. Was even near up towards the front. Maybe trying to even challenge for the lead or challenge for the top 3 positions. He also was one of those drivers that was just there from the beginning. So great run for him. Carson Hocevar finished in the top 10, but I mentioned he had a couple contact issues with Chase Elliott. Then car was wicked loose by himself, nearly losing it a couple times. Then ended up spinning in turn 4 to bring out the caution. And someone was able to claw right back to finish in the top 10. Again, another one of those performances by Carson Hocevar where he makes life for himself extremely difficult, but still somehow finds a way to get back in the top 10 and finish there. So great run for that 77 ride. He rode the Dente. He really did. And now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the green, the yellow, and the red. Let's go on. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the green. The green flag, Toyota. Absolute domination. For the first time in their history, 3 different Toyota teams finished in the top 3. First place was Joey Gibbs, second was 2011, and third was a Legacy Motor Club. That's the first time ever I think I've had to say that with Toyota Usually it was always Joe Gibbs Racing. Then it was Joe Gibbs in 2011, but they had legacy, but they were always back there. But this was the first time you had to include all three Toyota teams. So like I said, they led all but 16 laps. Just pure domination. Pure domination. I mean, Briscoe got the grand slam. Won all the stages. Started on front row. Led all the laps. Just dominating. Absolute dominating performance. That was the green flag. Now, the yellow flag is Hendrick Motorsports. I have never seen a performance that poor from Hendrick Motorsports in a long time. Somebody's got a fact check on me, but I'm pretty sure it was during the horror days of the 2018 season. I think it was the last time we saw Hendrick perform that poorly. Again, Chase Briscoe, or Chase Elliott, I should say, was the highest running driver, finishing in 17th. That is unacceptable. 17th, I think 19th, 21st, and 31st. Just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And this leads into the red flag. And the red flag are the playoff drivers in danger. If we take a look at the playoff grid once again, we got Gateway and Bristol coming up. And I look at some of these drivers on the back end. Chase Elliott, I feel like Chase Elliott will be fine. Like, I want to say he'd be fine, but that Darlington performance was just shocking, but I think he'll be okay at +9. Shane Van Gisbergen, I mean, you might as well throw in the towel. He ain't going to do it. Joe Logano, I know I had him in my playoff predictions. I had him in the round of 8. It is an odd year, but I don't know. We know Joey can win at Bristol, but I mean, is it possible that Joe Logano could be out in the round of 16? The thing is, I really think there's a strong possibility. It's happened before. 2 years ago in 2023, when he won the 2022 championship following Bristol, he was eliminated in the round of 16, was the first driver to be the defending champion and out in the first round. You then throw in Austin Dillon, I think he's going to be eliminated. I think that's easy. But Alex Bowman, -19, that's not a big gap. I mean, he can recover from that. But again, I said this with this 48. They can make a deep playoff run. But one thing I also did say is that the thing that concerns me is their extreme inconsistency from this 48 team. They can have moments where they're like, all right, they found something, they're on it, they're going to make a charge. And then there are other weeks where I'm like, can you finish a race to save your life on the lead lap? This was one of those nights. Will it carry on into the next 2 rounds? I don't know. Again, you look at the drivers that they're going up against. I mean, the only driver that they really don't have to be, in terms of Alex Bowman I'm talking about, is Shane Van Gisbergen. But they're not better than Chase. They're not better than the 20. They're not, I don't think they're better than the 2. I mean, the way they ran today, Austin Cindric finished 12th. He didn't really do much, but they also didn't fumble. They did their race. He's sitting +12 now. Austin Cindric in the 2 car is above the cut line. They're not better than the 1. They're not better than the 12. They're not better than the 24. They're not better than both 2011 cars. I mean, man, it's going to be very interesting to see how these next 2 races play out, because I would not be surprised if we see some big name drivers out in the round of 16. And to wrap up my rating for this race, I'm giving this a 6.5 out of 10. The final stage was pretty interesting. Stage 1 and Stage 2 were kind of really straight to the point. Nothing really much happened. Stage 3 was a bit interesting with the strategy involved. Wasn't, again, the whole dirty air thing, it was annoying. Kind of the same old with this next-gen car. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was much better than the spring Darlington race, but again, still need work to do. I'm not going to dive into it any further just because I'll be regurgitating the same points, but yeah, still need some work to do. Not bad, not great. 6.5 out of 10. We move on. But what are your thoughts on this race? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.